Thank you for attending the Cannabis Investor Webcast. I would like to thank our platinum sponsors, Nemus Bioscience, KAYS Holdings, formerly known as Alternative Fuels Americas, Aurora Cannabis, Tariga Sciences, Organogram, and Technical 420. To view Technical 420's latest stock report, please visit www.technical420.com. To ask a question for the presenter, you must type in your question in the question box in the lower right of your screen. Our presenter today is Craig Frank, CEO of KAYS Holdings Incorporated, again formerly Alternative Fuels Americas Incorporated. Craig, give me a couple of seconds and I will make you a presenter and turn the screen over to you.
Terrific. Good morning to everyone. Let me get this out of the way. We have a quick kind of, how do I get this out of the way? There you go. We have a quick presentation to share with you a little bit about the company, what we're doing, what we hope to be doing. I'm here in the store, so I thought afterward it might be nice to see if we can bring the computer out into the other room, into the main area of the store, and show everybody the store. I'm going to put on the presentation first, share a little bit with you, and then I'd like to take you out to the main portion of the store. Hopefully you'll get a good view of the store. It may be a little bit you can see that sometimes dealing with the computer might not be the easiest, but we're going to do the best we can to give all of you a wonderful overview of the company and to give you, of course, a chance to answer any questions, to ask any questions you may have, and we'll do the best we can to answer them. By the way, behind me is Dave Jones doing some work behind me, but here we go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put up this presentation. Here we are. And we're going to begin. So, what's our business plan? Our business plan is to produce, distribute, and sell marijuana products. We are a company that directly touches the marijuana. So we're going to be creating different lines of different products, and we will be selling those products through our KAYS stores. A little bit about the company. First of all, we are fully reporting. Our K is due next week, and we will be on time. We have about 70 million shares that were traded in 2014, so there is a following on the stock. We have 250 million shares that have been authorized, of which 85 million, almost 86 million, are outstanding. You see there the breakdown of those, so you can get a sense of where they are. I guess that gives you basically an overall picture of the share structure. We're the first, and we're still the only U.S. publicly traded company to own and operate a dispensary. Now, this is really fun because one day somebody is going to write a history book about the marijuana industry and how the marijuana industry started in the United States, and we will be in that book. And that's a big thing, not only because of what it means to us as a company, but also what it means to the industry itself. So let's talk a little bit about our current operations. We have the one store. It's a retail outlet here in Portland, Oregon on Hawthorne Boulevard. It's a very nice area, sort of a hip, one might compare it to, I don't know, maybe a Greenwich Village kind of environment. Lots of young people, lots of free-thinking people, good location. We opened the store on July 3rd of 2014, just last year. So far we've generated about 1,900 sales, a little bit more than that. We have a database of 400 distinct customers. So we're building that customer base, and we're beginning to see people understand that we're out there and looking for the store. So the brand, the KAYS brand, it's really all about being uplifting, having a positive message, and getting people to feel good about coming in. Some of the people that come into the store are ill, and a nice message always serves as a nice pick-me-up. And we think that the industry itself needs, because of some of the challenges it faces, sort of that very positive kind of image. It's very hard to get mad at KAYS when all they're saying all the time is be kind, and it's a good day to have a good day. It's hard for people to look at us and say those lousy marijuana dealers. So it was intentional, and we feel the brand is very, very strong. That's a picture of the store. You'll see it in a few minutes when I take you outside. But in one corner you see a display that has all edibles, sometimes called medibles. And then the case on the right side has concentrates and topicals, and then the case on the left side has the flower itself. We also have a farm. We announced it yesterday, actually this morning. Last night we prepared the press release. We announced it this morning. Right now we have 108 trees. We're producing about 8 pounds every 4 weeks. Expansion is now taking place to improve that to about 15 pounds every 4 weeks. And on facility, we have the capacity to grow to 50 pounds every 4 weeks. Obviously, we will ramp that up as our needs require. There's a little couple pictures of the grow itself. We did this for a couple reasons. One was, of course, to, in some way or another, influence our cost of sale. But also, more importantly, it's a question of supply and stability and controlling our supply. Because without that, it's very, very difficult. Supply chains, supply lines in the marijuana industry today are just being developed, which means that you are vulnerable to all kinds of instabilities. We sought to resolve that by making sure that we controlled our own supply line. Initially, by the way, our plan was to open up a couple more stores. Instead, probably around, I guess it was September, October of last year, we made the decision instead to refocus our energies on the grow, because we saw that and found that to be more of a critical imperative on our part. Okay, so that's the grow. We put a nice KAYS sign on there to sort of give an environment, but you can see that there's quite a few plants in there. Okay, I call it our toolkit, but really what it is, it's a number of elements that a small company like ours needs to be developing as we develop our assets. Because if we develop the assets faster than we develop the capacity to handle those assets, then we're going to wind up unable to manage the growth. So we had to put together a number of elements that would allow us to handle the growth, and then as we put those things into place, we can move rapidly or more rapidly on executing and creating those assets. So all of you are welcome to read it. There are 3 of us who basically run the company. 2 of them are in consultant positions. I am the CEO of the company. The second thing we need is we need access to capital. Like any other company, we need to be able to support and grow, and we need money to do that. So right now we're funded by our shareholders and institutional investors. We have a very close working relationship with the Cayman Island-based fund. Last year they put a little over $1 million into us, and our expectation is that they'll probably do the same this year. We look for qualified investors all the time. Those that do may invest either through the market itself, or they're welcome to seek to invest through us through our private placement. We need know-how, right? And there's a lot of know-how that has to go into a business like this. You have to have management know-how, sales know-how, marketing, retail, agriculture, on and on. So we need to supplement the knowledge base with experts when we need them, as necessary. And we do that. So we reach out. We develop this grow. I don't think it's any secret that until this effort, I was not a marijuana grower. So we needed to bring in marijuana growers. So we found ourselves really a master grower, somebody who's able to consistently grow quality marijuana in a organized and scheduled fashion. And we brought him on board. His name, by the way, is Tim Dubé, and he works with us, and he is our master grower. So we have to supplement knowledge as we go forward. Our strategy. First of all, we're legal and compliant at all times. No cutting corners, no fixing it the next day. We are legal and compliant at all times. Second, we believe in the vertical integration, which is why we began with the grow. And as we go forward, we'll be introducing new brands into the company, also to help serve that vertical integration principle. We know we need to expand our footprint. We're working hard to do that. We know we need to create the brand equities in the brands that we establish and build. And we know that we need to be part of the community, the cannabis community, and also the community at large. To this end, we founded and I chair the Florida Cannabis Industry Association. We are very, very close with the Drug Policy Alliance. And last year, together with Football Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor, we did a wonderful promo for Parents for Pot, which is a parents organization for children with cancer that seek to bring marijuana to their kids. And Lawrence was kind enough to sign a number of footballs, and we auctioned them off for the Parents for Pot. Okay, marketing. Okay, so the goal of the marketing is first of all to establish the KAYS brand. When we have additional brands, we'll establish those as well. We have to operate cooperatively with others. We need to deliver value to our customers, and of course, we need to drive traffic. What you see on the left side here is one of our promotions. We did a Every Day is a Good Day at KAYS, and every day we had something that was on sale or through discount or through buy one, get one or something like that. We are doing now a Just Because sale. We will start that tomorrow. Friday and Saturday will be a buy one, get one free, just because. Because sometimes you have to do something just because. So we do that all the time. We're very, very known in the community for having these fun kind of promotions. We are doing this month, by the way, for those of you who don't know, April is National Humor Month, and we are doing a Ain't It Funny raffle. People are bringing in jokes, and we are giving them a free pre-roll for the joke, and then we're going to publish the jokes in a book called Ain't It Funny, the KAYS Customer Humor. So we do all these kinds of things, and it's really just to bring customers in and create a relationship with the community. Next thing we need is execution. Okay? We entered this market a year ago. 1 year ago, that's all. And during that time, we've already accomplished all the things on there, plus the store, plus the grow. There's still more we need to do. There's more perhaps we could have done, but we did a lot. And we're proud of what we've done, and we need to continue going forward. I'm not a guy that's typically satisfied easily, so I know that we have much more we need to do. But at the same time, I also know that we need to look at what we've accomplished and celebrate our victories, and that's what we do here. We need strong controls. We're in the cash business. We're in the marijuana business. We need to make sure that cash stays where it's supposed to be, inventory stays where it's supposed to be. You have to manage employees, you have to manage vendors, and of course, and most important of all, we have to manage our compliance. If anybody would like to know what that really entails, we have about 13, 14-page manual on compliance that shares with us everything we need to be doing almost on a daily basis. And finally, we need buyers, okay? We need buyers. So the legal marijuana business, according to some anyway, is set to become larger than the National Football League. Oregon will have recreational marijuana by July 16th, and we expect that this will lead to broader sales. Now, by way of clarification, July 16th is the date that recreational marijuana comes into play here in the state. It is not the date that we can begin to sell recreational marijuana as of now. But there is a lot of talk here in the state, and there's some indication that they will, in fact, come July, allow the existing dispensaries here in Portland to begin to sell recreational, because they sort of set a date that people can have it, but they didn't set a date that people can buy it, and now they realize that there's sort of a gap there. Yeah, oh, I apologize. That's this July. Yes, okay. Full recreation with all the compliance and everything that's involved in that will be done by July 2016. My apologies. July 2015 is when they are now saying that they are considering allowing stores like ours to begin selling recreational. Not confirmed, not approved, but it does look like that could be what's happening. Okay, the growth plan. Okay, our intent is to grow both organically and through acquisitions. Okay, so first thing we know we have to do is we have to open additional stores. We are looking for that, and we've been through the process a number of times, and for one reason or another decided not to pull the trigger. We'll keep going. We've got to expand our grow capacities. We have to innovate the stores. By that I mean we have to make sure that the stores are always active and always have something new and exciting going on. We have to introduce proprietary brands. And of course we have to introduce products that aren't infused with marijuana now that can and should be. Yesterday we had some vendors come in. It was really interesting. They had marijuana-infused sugar from which they make marijuana-infused cotton candy, marijuana-infused whipped cream, and other things. So there's all kinds of opportunities out there for new products, and we are beginning to review ones that we think will have an impact on the market. The other opportunities we have, we're considering opening a Kaya Lounge, which is an area where people may gather in order to consume, because there is no consumption in the store, none permitted. But you can have a separate location where people are allowed to consume, but at the location they're not allowed to purchase. So we are looking through the compliance issues and what the rules say, and if it's something that we think is worthwhile, we will do it. The second is the state of Florida. Florida will have medical marijuana back on the ballot in 2016. As I mentioned, I chair the Florida Cannabis Industry Association. We are extraordinarily and extremely involved in the processes there. And if medical marijuana comes to Florida, it is our belief that we will be very well positioned to take advantage of that opportunity. In addition to that, there are some additional states. Now, we should clarify what makes a state attractive to us and what doesn't make a state attractive to us. And what really makes it something that we want to look at is a few things. One, their compliance and their regulations have to allow for a profitable business. So they can't be imposing so many restrictions and compliance regulations on the business that it's so expensive to operate you can possibly make any money. Second, we like that they permit vertical integration to some extent because we believe we have to have control over supply. And third, the cost of entry has to be reasonable. There are some states that want $250,000 just to apply for a license. We don't see any reason to do that. And fourth, it has to allow us to sell products that the customers want. There are some states that are going for low THC, no flower, all these sort of what we see as silly rules. We're not interested in those states right now. There are states coming online that have more attractive environments, and those are the environments that we're going to be looking at. Israel, we have some contacts there, some relationships there, and we are looking into the possibility of either acquiring or integrating into our systems some Israeli technologies that would give us something proprietary and an operating edge as we move forward. And finally, and it's been in the news all the time, the Indian reservations. Our phone rings pretty much 2-3 times a week with somebody telling us that they have an Indian reservation somewhere that's dying to do marijuana. And would we like to partner with them? We believe that the right partner is out there. We just don't know where they are. So we will keep looking. We will keep listening. We will keep meeting and talking. And when the proper and right opportunity presents itself, that's the opportunity we'll take. Just a couple pictures to show you. That is me over there. Once again, the GQ model. This might humble that concept a little bit more, but nonetheless, that is me. I'm at the grow, and all of that is marijuana that's just been harvested. This is just a picture of our marijuana. This is all our marijuana. We have about 33 different varieties. Those are 3. Okay. These are concentrates. We did a test run of our own concentrate about last week and a half. We're going to try to develop our own product. This was our first run. We called it KAYS Shatter. We will be branding it. We got 91.72% THC on this. It's pretty much unheard of. We don't know if that's something that will be duplicated that high, but we know that we have a very, very high quality process, and we did a very good job on this, and we expect to continue to do a good job. If we continue to bring shatter into the market at 90% or above, we will be a huge hit here in Portland. And finally, some edibles. We started serving hard candies individually, almost like the old shops in small towns. We put them up on these shelves, and people can come, and instead of buying what was typically a pack of 10, now they can buy one piece at a time. It was a nice concept. It's working well. People are buying it. And then here's the positive images that I was telling you a little bit about. This "Be Kind" that you see on the bottom is sort of a mantra. We're producing bumper stickers, pins, things like that, that's going around town. Again, it's done for two reasons. One is we really do think that people should be kind, but the other thing is that it's a calculated move on our part because it stifles opposition. It's very, very difficult for people to be against our brand when all our brand is saying is nice things. So we did that with intent. So going forward, where do we go from here? So we're well situated, really, to establish ourselves and maintain ourselves as a leader in the community and in the industry. We got really good fundamentals. We're building them further. Our operations have commenced, where we've got sales. We have a customer base that is established and growing. Our brands are being established as we speak, and we have a good growth plan. Our plan is in place, and we are executing. So what we'd like is for people to stay tuned, keep an eye on us, and our announcements will follow. I guess now I'd be really happy to take questions and answer them to the best of my ability. Okay, Derwin?
Okay, give me a couple of seconds to queue up questions. The first question is, Craig, is your marijuana branded KAYS Shack?
Yes.
So when somebody buys the marijuana, it has KAYS Shack on it. So for instance, I guess like the Marley brand, it would be branded Marley brand. So would yours be the same? So when somebody says, I got to get that KAYS, or I'm going to get the KAYS Shack, so your marijuana is branded KAYS Shack, right?
Well, the answer is yes and no. I mean, here's it's not really the way things work. It's like that commercial, it's not the way it works. Nothing works that way. The Marleys are talking about the possibility of creating a brand of marijuana, a prepackaged marijuana. Okay, we don't prepackage. We have, as you saw, we have the flower out and free, and people can take it in that way. We are beginning to prepackage some, because there are some consumers who are in a rush or they just want to come in, and often the prepackage is a little bit less expensive. So we are doing that. In fact, the buy one, get one just because sale that we're having starting tomorrow is only on prepackaged, and all the prepackaged is branded KAYS Shack, yes.
And to clarify there, as far as the strains, we have 30 different strains, some of which are common strains available at other dispensaries. They're specific to Oregon because it's all grown in state. However, we do have, we are putting out strains that are just unique to KAYS Shack, like KAYS Kush, which is approximately 22% THC, and we've got very good reception.
Yeah, and as we go forward, we will be developing additional strains that are proprietary to us. You think for a second about like a Baskin Robbins or something like that. You have to have your chocolate, your vanilla, Rocky Road. There are a few that you have to have, and they're probably going to account for the bulk of your sales. And then you have to have, the bubble gum and some of the other sort of off flavors that make you who you are in terms of your brand, and people seek you out for those specific flavors that they know they can get only at your dispensary. So that's where we're going with that.
Okay, and the next question.
Glasses up because I think it's I'm reflecting. So you can still see me, but I may not be able to see you. Okay, go on.
Next question, and you can tell this is from a research analyst. They get right to the nitty-gritty. What is the projected sales per dispensary in 2015?
We're not going to offer any forward-looking financial statements.
Gotcha.
There are many variables there that would cause a wide array. I mean, we could have an hour-long discussion about medical is much lower sales rates than recreational. However, the caveat being, when recreational comes in, many states see a sharp increase in medical. Why? Because you're buying without the tax consequences for recreation. You're buying as the state authorities treat it, one as medicine, and two as same thing as alcohol or some sort of other recreational outlet. And one thing that Craig touched on, this idea that the dispensaries, the way Measure 91 was crafted in Oregon, it allowed people to start possessing, using, and theoretically growing at home as of July 1st of this year, so in a couple of months. And the thought was that people would just grow their own. You don't grow, the average person doesn't grow high-grade, connoisseur-grade medical marijuana or just high-grade recreational marijuana in their home, okay? So they began to look at the fact that they also did not want to discourage, they did not want to encourage the black market. So several of the legislators have put together a proposition that we begin sales this July from the existing medical marijuana dispensaries. If that happens, we could have very strong revenues. If it doesn't, we could have lower revenues. And there's also a plan here to obviously increase the number of dispensaries, but as it makes economic sense and fits into the overall business plan.
And I'll go just a little bit further and say that this is an emerging industry. This is a new thing. For me to think that I can project or forecast out with all the unknowns would just be unfair to everybody, and expecting me to do so is unfair to me. I don't think we know. We know what we need to do to establish a foothold and create a brand and establish a presence in this industry, and that's what we're doing. And as the industry grows and as the regulations begin to settle and all of us can know what's going to happen tomorrow, then we can begin to build. And in a couple of years' time, or maybe short, less than that, I'll be happy to give forward-looking statements. But right now, anything I said would just really be, conjecture on our part. We don't know. We know that we're going to do okay, and we know that because we see what's on the ground. We see who else is there, and we see what we're doing. But we don't know how okay.
Okay. What are you looking for? Are you looking for partnerships, joint ventures, acquisitions, and what are some of the characteristics you're looking for in your partners, acquisitions, or joint ventures?
The answer is yes, we are. We are looking both for acquisitions that are reasonable and sensible, and we're looking for joint ventures to fill in some blanks that we may not be intending to fill ourselves at this time. So what we're looking for. Let's go back for just 1 second. Let's keep in mind the transition that this industry is undergoing, or that marijuana itself is undergoing, coming from a status of being illegal to a status of being in a gray market to now being legal. A lot of the people that have established businesses in this sector were people who were passionate about cannabis. That's why they were engaging in cannabis activity even when it wasn't permitted. So when it became permitted, they, of course, were the first online to become legit, and that's proper, and I'm glad they did. But many of them were marijuana farmers and marijuana sellers, but they weren't business people. And so they have created businesses that in many ways don't reflect proper business practices. So we see them as opportunities. However, part of what we're seeing at this early stage in the development of the business, and it was true also in the early stages of the internet and some other emerging or call it revolutionary type of new businesses, the people who get involved at the first stage have an unrealistic expectation of the value of what they have. And the reason they have this unreasonable expectation is because they have a great degree of passion and love for the industry that they're engaged in, and that emotion is attached to a perception of value. So for now, we're seeing things that are very high valued, not really worth the value that they are asking, and so we are being careful about the kinds of acquisitions that we are seeking to engage in. So the first thing we're looking for is good value. Second thing we're looking for is perhaps a partner or an operator that can help us along the way. We're looking for an established business of some kind or another, either a customer base or a good supply chain or something like that. And when we see those, we enter into a discussion with them. And so far, we haven't found anything that made us want to pull the trigger, but as we do, we will.
Okay. Next question, what sort of margins per pound are you seeing and expecting in the future?
The answer to that really depends on how the marijuana is sold, and that's why I smiled. Look, we sell marijuana now at $200 an ounce. That's $3,200 a pound. If people buy it by gram, they pay $10 a gram. There's $10. There's 28 grams in an ounce, and there's 16 ounces in a pound. Right. So there's 448 in a pound. So we're selling it at that time. At that point, if we sell it by gram, we're selling it for $4,480. So it really depends on how the customers buy it. It reflects on what we ultimately get for the pound of marijuana. Our cost for that pound of marijuana is anywhere between $1,200 to $2,000, depending on how we received it. Yeah. And the grow itself, by the way, when we grow our own, our costs are a little under $1,000.
Okay. Are you seeking funds for real estate expansion, assuming the banks can't be sourced?
I'm not sure what the questioner means by real estate expansion. If they mean by the opening of additional stores, the answer is yes. If the meaning is to purchase real estate for the purpose of stores, the answer is no. We're not seeking at this time to buy the locations that we're open.
Okay.
But the capital we're seeking is capital for opening new stores, expanding the grow, creating the brands, the products, that kind of stuff.
Can you explain how much of the marijuana operation KAYS shareholders own?
Shares of the marijuana operations, KAYS shareholders.
You want me to read it again? Can you explain how much of the marijuana operation KAYS shareholders own?
Okay. Kaya Holdings Incorporated owns 55% of Marijuana Holdings Americas, which is the structure under which Kaya Shack is housed.
And that 55% is non-dilutive.
That 55% is non-dilutive.
Okay. What is shelf life of your common strain?
Properly stored.
Yeah, properly stored, this stuff can stay pretty much a year. I mean, we don't keep it that long, but we could, yeah.
Light will break down the chlorophyll. That's why it's kept. That's why several of the jars are in boxes inside the safe. Light will have a negative effect on the product over time. We've met with some growers that have shown us product that they've had close to 2 years. Nothing that we bought, but just for a point of reference, and you have to look very carefully to see. So the product, as long as it's stored properly, you have a very good shelf life.
Okay, and I think, Craig, you touched on this. When will you file your 10K that was due March 31st?
We're on extension right now. We're working with the auditors. It will be filed on the 14th.
What he said.
Have you tried lowering THC?
Have we tried what?
Have you tried lowering THC?
Lowering the THC?
Yeah.
We have two strains on the shelf now. One is called Harlequin, one is called Critical Mass. Both of them have higher CBD than they do THC. So the short answer to that is yes, we have, and yes, we do. The longer answer to that is that customers here in Oregon, at least for now, are shopping by THC, and that means that they want higher THC, not lower THC.
Okay. Do you have any institutional investors?
Yes, we have the fund out of the Cayman Islands.
How many shareholders? That's probably impossible for you to know how many.
Yeah, it's somewhere a little over the 2,000.
Okay. Who do you see as major competitors in Oregon with a similar vertically integrated approach?
There are a few. There are, I'd say that probably, at the end of the day, 6 or 7 operators that we have a lot of respect for that we think they're going to make it. But we think there's going to be a consolidation here in Oregon in general, Portland in particular. We think some of them aren't going to make it, but those that do will probably fold into, at the end of the day, there'll be 6, 7 companies here in Portland pretty much controlling the marijuana.
Could you give us a revenue breakdown? How much of your revenue will be, as far as percentage, will be dispensary and your growing operations?
How much of our Well, the grow is for internal purposes, for vertical integration. So unless we set up, we're thinking about, the accountants will have to take a look at that, unless we set up a system whereby the retail pays the grow operation, it's really just an extension of the retail. So we wouldn't break it down in that way.
Okay. How does being a publicly traded dispensary give you an advantage over other dispensaries?
Well, I think the answer to that is in a few ways. Number one, we have the benefit of a wide array of shareholders. Therefore, we have a lot of feedback and information, suggestions, recommendations that come to us. So we have a very wide, I guess I'd call it a brain trust. That's a huge advantage. The second, we have the currency of the stock that we can use in acquisitions. Others don't have that. Keep in mind that people who've gotten into the marijuana business got into it because they're passionate, because they are passionate about marijuana, often not because of the effects of the marijuana, but because of the freedom of marijuana, the issue of marijuana, the idea that we are outlawing something that perhaps shouldn't be outlawed. So they're very passionate about it. So the opportunity to go to somebody and say, how would you like me to buy you, but at the same time you can stay involved in this industry and you can stay an owner in this industry, I think is extremely compelling to a lot of the people here. So the fact that we can utilize the stock and keep people in the industry, even though they're not able to be operators, I think is a huge advantage. And we see that. The people we talk to, a lot of vendors are excited. Our entire staff is excited. I mean, everybody's excited. I don't think you'd have that if you weren't a player.
Do you have cash on hand for acquisitions, or do you still need to raise it for mergers or acquisitions?
We have commitments in place for if and when we bring an acquisition to the table. We won't have a problem financing an acquisition if we have them. That said, like every young company, we're always raising money. It's just the nature of the beast.
Okay, and you get this question a lot. How were you formed? Were you formed a reverse merger or IPO? We get that question a lot.
Yeah, no, well, let's go back. So Alternative Fuels Americas was formed through a reverse merger with a company called NetSpace Holdings. We have brought the assets of the marijuana into the company. We did that a year ago, really to protect our shareholders. And now we've done this name change without any reverse or without any consequence other than to improve the value of the company and better focus, better communicate the focus that we have as a company.
Okay, what do you see as your key differentiator as a CEO in this business? Put differently, how does your past experiences developing and launching businesses in other industries play to your advantage now?
I think the way they play. Look, I've spent most of my adult life building small businesses. I've done work and consulting work for some larger businesses, but mostly for younger companies. And what I've taken away from those experiences really is that need to create the foundation. I don't know. I don't know how many CEOs spend the time sharing with shareholders the internal infrastructure that's being developed in order to ensure success as a company grows. But I think the biggest problem small companies often have is that they grow faster than their capacity permits. So then they wind up collapsing under the weight of their own success. We're very, very aware of that, and we are building the infrastructure of the company simultaneously and alongside building the assets of the company. And by doing that, I think as the assets grow, we'll be in a much better position to leverage them.
Next question. Is there a branded concentrates company whose products stand out?
I think that's, like asking somebody what's the best Chinese restaurant in Chinatown in New York. Look, everyone's got their favorites. I mean, we carry 3 brands now. We may carry another 1 or 2. We are going to introduce our own. So I think if I walk back out in that room and if there's a customer in there, I would ask them and they would say one, and then I'd ask Simone and she'd say another. No. We have 2 brands that we sell more of than the third. There are other shops probably that sell more of that one than they do the other 2.
Okay. You mentioned strong controls. So how are you doing that? Are you planning on using machines like American Green, dispensary machines?
No. We don't intend to do that. We don't expect to ever do that. Be quite honest with you, we don't get it. But others do, and God bless. Our controls are based on a number of things. 1, we have very, very tight reporting controls inside the company itself. 2, we have a tracking system called BioTrack, which is a POS system and a tracking system that we deploy. And 3, we have a banking relationship here that we've developed with a bank called MAPS, M-A-P-S. We have an account now, something that that wasn't available to us a short while ago. And through that also, we're able to have better controls.
Okay. Do you plan on going to other states?
Yes. Again, as I mentioned in the presentation, it really depends on the state, what the opportunity is in the state, and how we feel we can best take advantage of that. A lot of the states now are creating rules with the intent of stifling the marijuana industry. The rules that, for example, are coming out of New York and Illinois and that came out of Massachusetts and to some extent Nevada, those are really rules that are intended to discourage business activity as opposed to encourage business activity, and that's because the general population is in favor of legal marijuana in one form or another, and the politicians haven't caught up to us. So we review each state for the ease of operations inside that state. We don't think that there's a business opportunity in the states that are forcing no flower, low THC, high cost of entry, only 4 or 5 operators in the state permitted. I mean, all of those things are probably going to change as time goes on because we're evolving. So some states you have to take a let's wait and see how they grow up, mature, and change the mistakes that they're making. And some states are ready now. The states that are ready now we'll look at.
Okay, well, we kind of ran out of time here, so that concludes our Q&A. Any last comments, Craig?
No. I thank you all for your interest in the company and for listening today. I like to believe that I'm very accessible. People don't understand why that is. A lot of people question the motive behind that. The reason is because I think this is our company. I'm honored and I carry the weight of leading this company, but it's our company. And anybody who wishes to contact me, that is my personal phone number on the contact page. You're welcome to do so. I will answer questions I can, and I will tell you I won't answer questions I can't. And that's just the world we live in. And to ask me to do otherwise is unfair to me and probably unfair to you. So I'll continue to do that and continue to try to dialogue with our shareholders. Those that wish to bring an intelligent, mature, and responsible conversation, I'm happy to do that with you. And those that want to just beat me up, have fun.
Well, we really appreciate your presentation, Craig.